All right, so Sarah, sitting down today, going to talk about how long it takes for athletes to see results within the program and how we actually get there. So, in your experience, just because you've got over 15 years of experience of doing posture therapy with athletes, what's the general time frame and how long it takes people to get results?
I think it's hard to say. I don't think there's a general. I think it's going to be based on each person, but what's crazy is you can see results that day. Sometimes it's been coined it happens too fast, right? Like if you've seen any of Connor's videos, he didn't throw for so long with no pain and he literally did a program and then he threw pain free for the first time. And it can happen so fast sometimes and they walk away from a visit with us to where they feel pain free or what they identify as pain free, and then they don't come back as if they don't need to continue to follow up. Um, this is more of like a life change due to the fact that we're looking at, posture and position in the body. It's a constant, it's maintenance. We have to do maintenance for everything. And so typically when it happens, we've identified it happened too fast, right? And then they will typically come back though, just because all of a sudden it will wear off. But currently in the guys we're seeing right now, we're seeing as soon as 3 days. We're getting a lot of feedback right now that 2 weeks they're seeing velo increase, nerve impingement going away, stiffness going away. And so I think the work that we do that's a little bit different is we try to break down with you guys, defining what some of the goals are and being able to create these benchmarks and checking them off, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes a really long time, right? It depends who we're working with. Sometimes it took a long time to get there, so it can take not as long to go back, but it can take a longer time than a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, I think one of the really kind of interesting things that you said to me early on when we were going through all this was the body's only going to give you what it's willing to give you. It's not going to go any faster. It's not going to go any slower than what it is willing and capable of doing. And while that's a really frustrating answer, like my body's different than yours, my body took it on really, really quickly. Other people that we work with, they don't start to see those results until maybe like week 8. But as long as you continue to stay the course, your body will change and so will your circumstances.
Yeah. I think I mean, I'd love to ask you the same question you asked me, but it's the reason why we spend so much time with our guys is to be able to look at the photos. The photos are really for them to be able to look because we're able to kind of see as the body changes, we're able to see the joints changing and everything. That's what tells us what's happening, right? We look at symptoms. There are times where, my favorite is like you can't trust what people are feeling. And that it's not to not listen to the aches and pains and soreness and what's happening, but sometimes you'll have somebody, let's just say, lay down on the ground and you adjust them to be straight. And they're like, I feel totally wonky. And it's like, well, let me take a picture of you. You look straight. You are straight. And so that's kind of the example I like to talk about is you can't trust the feelings sometimes. But yeah, those benchmarks and identifying and working with the guys so we can track progress is really important. And it's not going to just be like, what, here, I want to be throw pain free. You know what I mean? What pain free for you and for me and anyone else sitting next to us is completely different, right? We can apply that into a lot of different things, applications in life. But I mean, what have you seen,
So, to
right?
speaking, everybody's body is a little bit different. I like to give that disclaimer of an answer. But I would say commonly we're seeing improvements in people's symptoms within 2 to 4 weeks. And generally speaking, almost every athlete that we've been working with has seen some level of improvement by week 6 and really seen improvement by week 8.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I do disclaim as well, and new symptoms and old symptoms can come up and
Yes,
could be
new
a flare-up.
symptoms. It is very common for pain to move throughout your body. So if you come in with shoulder pain, and let's say 2, 3 weeks go by and the shoulder's no longer hurting, but now your low back is hurting, a lot of people would look at that and go like, oh my goodness, what's going on? It's like, that's actually a good thing. Like we want that pain to move. That means your body's moving and it's adapting. That low back pain will eventually go away. And it's unfortunate that it went from one spot to another, but that is progress.
Yeah. Like knee pain, if it's medial, like inside of the knee, and then it goes in the back of the knee. goes down the shin, you know, that shows change. And sometimes it's hard to swallow that, but it is good when we see it. So what I like to use, let's go like a herniated disc. If none of you guys know what a herniated disc is, it's essentially the little sponge. It's kind of, they talk about like a jelly donut that's in between your vertebrae and your spine.
Yeah, it
It's
gives you
actually
cushion.
designed to squish and actually break open. It's designed to do that to protect you from other things. But what happens is sometimes people will come in, they say they're dealing with some back pain or nerve pain, and they'll tell us about their symptoms. And the reason is because it's a herniated disc. There's a lot of things to a herniated disc that we can go into. We're not going to today, but position wise, typically you don't see the pain in the same place at the same time at the same pain level 24 hours a day unless it is the root cause. So when you have somebody with a herniated disc and they say, when I'm sleeping, this is when I see it, or when I'm running or going upstairs, they typically can identify when it is. And then there's actually times throughout the day where they don't feel it at all. And so when we see that, if you have a herniated disc and that is the root cause of the issue and the pain and symptoms, um, it's herniated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if that's the cause, we should be seeing that pain, the symptom location, and the pain level consistent 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? Something that's really important to talk about.
Yeah, and as we're talking about herniated discs, the my first week in California being exposed to posture therapy was the one of the craziest transformations I've ever seen. There was this woman in her upper 50s, low 60s, and she came in with a herniated disc. She had surgery scheduled for 5 weeks later. And she decided that she wanted to get her body into a better position to hopefully have that surgery be more successful. She literally did one thing. She did static back for 1 hour a day, every day for those 5 weeks. And she walked back into the doctor's office. They re imaged it to see where her body was at. And they go, "You don't need surgery anymore."
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was like my first week. I'm like, holy shit, this is real. It's not just me.
Yeah, so position wise, the body started to hold itself, right? And the spine had position wise had the ability, and this is kind of the root of what we're doing in all with all of our guys, right? And girls. But the point is position wise, the spine was able to adjust and the muscles were able to kind of take on different workloads to where the position came better, got closer to neutral, and the disc probably literally just like went right back where it's supposed to
Yeah,
because the
I don't
position was
remember.
had been compromised.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact like degree of the herniation, but the severity of it had certainly lessened, and her symptoms were gone. So like, we don't need to do surgery anymore.
Yeah, and we see that with a lot of different things.
Hmm.
Name it.
Ulnar nerve, TOS, those are kind of the most two common things that we see amongst a lot of throwers. But like knee pain, back pain, also really common in there from people, particularly with like meniscus injuries, and just the ability for their legs to actually stabilize them appropriately.
Yeah, we also see disease kind of dissipate a little bit.
Yeah, Crohn's
Not
disease
all the
is
way.
one of the
It
ones that
does
we kind of have
dissipate.
in some different guys that we work with. Because like not to go too deep into this tangent, but like the internal systems within your body are all affected by your posture, like your digestion, your blood flow, your respiratory. All of those things are internal tube systems within your body. And if your body's in a cockeyed position, those tubes become clogged, they become less efficient, and then that increases the likelihood that disease can form.
They're not sitting in their efficient place to work and function the way that they're supposed to be, like position wise, right?
Hmm.
Think of it like the engine of your car, right? And if a piston goes out, like most likely position or alignment's off. So,
So I think
yeah.
one question I have for you is just as like the therapist or the person that's like prescribing these exercises, how do you define success? Because for the athlete, it's going to be them moving better or throwing harder or not being in pain anymore. But like, how do you define success?
I typically, well, we look at posture. So what we're constantly doing and working with our therapy team is it's so important to remember to literally refer back to this, right? And we're comparing to this every single time. And so we're going to go back to what the blueprints look like, and we're going to look at the position of the body. Now, here's the problem. Sometimes you got symptoms that are screaming. The other day, I was dealing with somebody that was dealing with some like back issues that hadn't really flared up in a long time, but essentially the back was throwing a fit like a child. And I was like, it's having to give up workload, which it doesn't want to. And if you think about us individually as humans, sometimes, at least for me, uh, especially when I was younger, I did a lot of work and management. And so when jobs either I deliberately gave them away or things were getting taken off of my plate, sometimes I struggled with that internally, right? It's kind of the same thing. The muscles do the same thing. If you're going to try to take away this job, it's not really their job in the beginning, but when they're working so hard and that the workload starts going into other places, it can throw a fit.
Mhm.
That makes sense. So I can't like to me internally therapy wise, I'm just looking at the position of the body and how it's changing. And it's changing after every single exercise, every day, right? And so one thing that you were talking about is the body is only willing to give you what it's willing to give you. And here's the thing, it's literally in the moment, right? Because if we see someone right now, let's talk about Ian really quickly. Uh, what he looks like right now, if we were doing therapy on him, he threw yesterday. We did therapy on him today. After we do one exercise, his body is going to be different than it was when we just started 2 minutes ago. And so the body is literally will you have to be patient and look at what the body is willing to give you in that moment, in that day, or in that kind of section of life, right?
Mhm. I think
So
I've got a little bit kind of different approach. Like, absolutely, we're looking for posture and we're looking for symptoms to improve. But I think educating and understanding what and why is going on is super, super important. Like, the guys that we work with that get the best results start to fundamentally understand what posture is and how it's truly impacting them. And then they're actually able to learn how to take care of themselves to the point where they don't need other people to help them. So I would say, like, success for me is being able to explain this new complex thing that's really not that complex and make sure that you understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how you can continue to do this moving forward.
yeah, I mean, the the goal that we have collectively, right, is to teach all of our clients how to take care of themselves. Because in the most loving way, we don't want to see them every 2 weeks forever a lifetime. Realistically, I'd love to see them every 2 weeks for 3 months and that's it, and start pushing out from there. It's not always true. Sometimes we bring them in even more. Sometimes we push them out. Sometimes we keep them the same, right? It just depends on each person.
Yeah,
So
it's an individual case basis, and
yeah,
like there's really no one size fits all approach to anything in life. And if we are trying to take a one size fits all approach, somebody's going to like find their way through the cracks and not be found, right? So if you're looking for something that is going to get you back on the field, going to get you healthy, and really actually address the root causes for why your injury occurred or why you keep re-injuring this, posture is going to be something that's really important and it's not talked about enough.
yeah. There's no, I mean, we have one protocol. Look at the body in front of you, but there's no, just because you got Tommy John, there's no protocol for that here. I mean, the protocol is to look at you and what the body's willing to give you at the moment.
Yeah, we're going to look at your
What works
body,
best.
what's going on with it. Now, you have to get cleared by your PT. We're not
Yeah,
going to
that is
see
a
you before
protocol.
you get cleared. But it's not just going to be like, hey, you tore your UCL, let's do some scap work. Like, what else within your body contributed to why your scap isn't working correctly and then ultimately put too much stress on your elbow? And that's really what we have to figure out. Like, the surgery will fix the trauma or like the injury that actually happened there. But just fixing that area doesn't change the reason for why that area became injured in the first place.
Yeah. It's a reaction, right? It's the reaction that we're seeing
Hmm.
typically.
Yeah,
It's pretty
absolutely.
rare that's the root cause unless there's a complete impact injury.
So just wrapping this all up, talking about like the timeline of how long it takes guys to get the result is the big thing that we didn't touch yet is the consistency of this. Is like you have to do your exercises. every single day. And
every day.
if you really want the result, twice a day is the gold standard.
Yeah. Right now we have especially guys teeing up going into college right now. They're starting their training. And so we have some really big benchmarks with a really short timeline, and all of them are doing it twice a day. And that's where we're seeing that huge progress. Ultimately, it is a journey. Like this is a life change. It is something that you implement every day. It's something that people use for the rest of their lives. We do see people fall off, but they always come back to it. Um, and realistically, each person is going to receive results. And that's why we actually offer a money back guarantee, right?
Mhm.
We do create expectation that we will see them probably, we see our guys for about a year. And then we see them off and on for however long we go for. We have lifelong clients right now. So ultimately, what we're looking for in your initial therapy package that we do, we will see change in your photos and symptoms wise, better for worse, right?
Mhm.
Better or worse, no matter what, by the end of 3 months, 90 days. So,
But
yeah,
you got to do the work to get there. It's
yeah,
unfortunately not one of those things that we can do for you. We can give you the plan, but you are ultimately the person who's in charge of executing that plan to truly change your circumstances. We are giving you the plan and the direction of what to do, but the execution comes down to you.
yep. 3 reasons why it doesn't work. One, you don't do your exercises, and they must be done every day. And you don't show up to your scheduled calls with us, right? Number two, you're doing them incorrectly. And number three, we gave you the wrong exercises.
And
So
number two, we avoid because you send in video of you doing all your exercises and you get feedback on the adjustments to make with your form.
that's right. And number three, we gave you the wrong exercises. And the reason why that happens is because we didn't listen properly.
And then we readjust, we reframe the entire thing, sit down, okay, what's the plan that we need to execute moving forward? And then we're able to write the ship.
Yep. So let's keep going. We're getting great results right now with our guys that we have right now. It's pretty amazing.
So if you're interested in learning more about how posture can help you, book a link or book a call through the link in the description. We'll jump on, talk about your situation and how posture might be able to help you take that next step forward.